Today we're going to talk about EDR, MDR, XDR, and try to explain a little bit of all the differences and demystify a little bit what they're all about. So you've got a couple different pieces that we're going to talk about here. So your first is EDR. It's fundamental in all of those from a standpoint of things. So we'll define things first. You've got Endpoint Detection and Response, Managed Detection and Response, and then XDR, Extended Detection and Response. So there's a couple pieces there. This is in all of them, but essentially what this is the replacement for antivirus. So your traditional antivirus, and then as it moved into, as everybody called, next-gen antivirus, had a couple limitations. So it was signature-based, so a file had to look a certain way, or it had to be the exact same file across multiple systems for antivirus to detect it. And it often was too late by the time it detected it. It obviously already existed or something had happened, things like that. And so as it moved into that next-gen antivirus and into EDR, this is where we introduced behavior, right? So you could take as an example a process that started encrypting things on the disk. If that was BitLocker and it was doing what it's supposed to, that's probably okay. If you have some other random application or process that started up and started encrypting files on your disk, it's not okay. And so EDR is able to look at that as a behavior and say, hey, this shouldn't be encrypting things across my data, and I need to take action on it. Also then introduces some things to be able to roll back changes and things like that, where traditional antivirus didn't always necessarily have those capabilities. And so this is basically, as it says, it's on your endpoints. So this is your laptops, your servers, even mobile devices, right? Providing that detection of suspicious activity and all of that type of thing. It's basically kind of that line of defense across all of your devices, right? If you think about it, if we extend this analogy out for things, this would be like putting security cameras in your workplace or at home. So you have visibility into things that are going on inside of there. MDR is Managed Detection and Response. And so it takes this EDR portion and puts some management or response behind it. And so we have a lot of times what we call a SOC, or a Security Operations Center, where you have security specialists that are analyzing all of the data and the telemetry that come from your endpoints. So it's able to introduce things like threat hunting. So if we see different detections across there that may or may not have tripped anything from a behavior-wise, but we start to see things and go, hey, there's other organizations across the world that have seen these, and then that became malicious at some point, and they can catch things before they actually would cause problems. Some of that threat hunting happens there. It's also the other piece then that provides response on top of there. So anytime that we find something on an endpoint with EDR, finds a malicious behavior, things like that, those security analysts and the things, personnel on the SOC side can take action against that. They can also say, hey, I saw it on this endpoint over here. I'm now going to go look at all my other endpoints across the organization to make sure that I don't see that same behavior for this actual confirmed malicious activity or detection that we found. So basically, when you take it from that standpoint, that MDR component enhances EDR. And that's basically like having a security team watching those cameras. So it's one thing to have those cameras in place. It's another thing then to have somebody that's sitting there paying attention to them, saying, hey, there's somebody by the back door, or somebody made it into the front door, and they're now in the building, and they're doing something that they shouldn't be. So that's that next step. When you expand then to XDR, it kind of takes all of this again and moves over from that standpoint. And basically, it integrates additional security layers into your environment. So not just your endpoints anymore, but it looks at the rest of your network. And those could be switches, firewalls, other traffic and things like that. It can extend as well into cloud services. So it can monitor things within a 365 or a Google environment. And introduces the concept of SIEM for event monitoring and things like that inside of your environment to see what's happening across the board. And so we can see things sometimes where, hey, I might have a device over here and connected to a particular switch port, and its traffic has been this, and all of a sudden now it's this, and it's doing something like that. And so we can start to see patterns to say, hey, there's something goofy here. This device has never really ever peaked past that from a bandwidth perspective. There might be something going on here. And so you can start to correlate all of those things together to say, hey, there might be something to go pay attention to on this guy over here. And so it basically gives you enhanced visibility across your entire environment and allows for not just endpoints to be monitored, but all of those additional pieces, and correlates all of that data together. And so this is basically the same idea of growing on the security analogy of you have cameras, you have a team watching that. Now we've put in place door sensors, window sensors, other alarms and things like that with different thresholds that are spread out across your workplace or across your home. And so provides that more holistic approach to what's there. So again, endpoint detection and response has replaced AV in the space of where things are. We attach management on top of that for MDR, so we have additional resources paying attention to everything that's coming from your endpoints, your laptops, your servers, and things like that. And then that extended detection and response that pulls in the rest of your network, your cloud services, and all those other resources to give a holistic picture of everything else going on. We hope you found this content helpful. As always, please like and subscribe. And if you'd be interested at all in finding out more about EDR, MDR, and XDR and how we can help secure your organization, there's links in the description below on how you can get a hold of us.